tonight for the aloe vera. Um, and we're going to give people about 2 or 3 more minutes to join us on the conference call tonight. I know it's a Friday night. People are probably trying to get in, to settle in, to get on the call. So if you just be patient with us, we're going to wait about 2 or 3 more minutes, and then we'll get started properly. Thank you again. Weekly ABC&H aloe vera juice and topical discussions. And tonight we're going to get started. But before we do, I just want to say again, thank you. I hope everyone had a great day. And I hope that this experience tonight will bring some clarity to your questions, and also be able to help us into a life of healthy and wealthy, because you're healthy, you're well. So tonight, I want to start off with Ms. Donna Wright Miller, who is going to lead us in an inspirational moment.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to read a quote from Maya Angelou. It said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said." It's a lot of background noise coming from somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna start over again. This is a quote from Maya Angelou. She says, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel." And I thought that was very relevant to basically with the aloe and what Miss Rebecca is doing to really help all of us, and how the aloe is really helping so many people. So that's my quote for tonight. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Donna. We really appreciate those words of wisdom and words of strength and encouragement. At this time, I just want to go over some house rules and some housekeeping things. If you are on the phone and you need to mute yourself, we ask that you push star six on the phone. If you're calling into the conference line, star 6 will mute you and also unmute you. Also, if you need to raise your hand and be recognized on the phone, I guess to ask a question or to give a testimony, that prompt is star 9, okay, on your phone. If you're on the actual Zoom itself, at the very bottom of your Zoom, it has the mute and unmute button on the left-hand side, and you can be able to facilitate that. And also, if you go into more in your Zoom, you can raise your hand and also be recognized to either give a testimony, ask a question, and also there you can also type your information if you want to into the chat. Okay, and if you have any questions about that, you can stop us at any given time. But again, welcome to the ABC&H aloe vera juice. This will be our last aloe vera meeting that we host every week. Okay, we're going to go to once a month starting in April. So after tonight, our next meeting will be April the 9th. Okay, April the 9th. And we're going to send out a reminder to everybody. Well, we're going to go into once a month. We have a lot of things that are happening and going on. And so we want to facilitate that to once a month to meet as a whole. But you know that the Google voicemail and also the email address and also the direct information or direct contact information to Ms. Rebecca will always be open. And we will respond and answer your questions or point you in the right direction or give you the feedback that's necessary to help assist you and facilitate your journey to health and wellness. All right. So at this time, I just want to say we're going to start with questions tonight. I know we have all of these sessions, and a lot of times we get to the end, it's a lot of questions that we can't get to. But at this time, we're going to start, instead of doing testimonies first, we're going to start with questions. So if you have any question that you need clarity on or that you want to bring up or ask, feel free at this time to do so. So we're going to open up the floor. If there's any questions that you have about the aloe vera topical or either the aloe vera juice, now is the opportunity that we're going to open up the floor. So feel free to chime in at this point. And tonight is what we're calling Ask Miss Rebecca Anything. And, you know, and if we can answer, we'll answer as well. So feel free to ask any questions at this time. All right, no questions? Well, I had a question that I asked Ms. Rebecca a while ago, and it was really about the mental stability and how aloe vera juice, does it help with your mental state? And she said, yes, it also works in a way to where if a person's going through depression, anxiety, PTSD. I suffer from PTSD, and also I was suffering from depression at one point in time. And so I've been on the aloe vera juice, and I've seen how it has calmed me down. The doctors have prescribed me some type of medication for my anxiety. And the thing that got me was they said that now, once you get on this medication, don't come off of it unless we wean you off of it. So I thought that was kind of strange. So I took it for like a month, and I just couldn't handle it. It was just too, it was doing too much. So I didn't wean myself off of it. I just came off of it. And I started on the aloe vera juice, and it's given me that stable um, feeling that I need to move forward in my day. If you've never suffered from depression, anxiety, or PTSD, those three things are a bad combination, and they can overwhelm you if you're not careful. And before, being younger, sometimes we can take on different type of loads and we can carry it. But as you get older, some of your mental state, will wear you down, just like if it was cancer or any other type of disease. So I just want to encourage everybody, if you know somebody that is suffering with that type of issue or issues, this is a great segue and a great natural way of dealing with those type of mental chemical imbalances and things that individuals face. Sometimes, we can't coach or counsel people through certain things, especially if there's a chemical imbalance when it comes down to stress, anxiety. And one of the root causes of anxiety and depression, sometimes I think it's called an information overload. You get too many advices, everybody has their opinions, and you can't come up with a resolution on your own. But I found that aloe vera was a great help to get me stabilized and settled when it came down to my mental state. So I just wanted to give that response about anything that's dealing with mental and cognitive issues that a person may be having. But any questions?
Michael, this is Barbara. Since Miss Rebecca is not on the line yet, should we jump into testimonials and then get back into questions once Miss Rebecca make her grand entrance?
Sure, that'll be fine. That'll be excellent, as a matter of fact. So let's shift and move on to testimonials. Is there any testimonies that any individuals want to share? We want to just remind you that all testimonies of any form or any advancement of progress that you have seen, that you've experienced with the aloe vera juice is very helpful. I don't care if it's just something like my toe was hurting, it's not hurting. It's all helpful. It just shows the progress, and it shows the different areas that aloe vera juice can assist you. So, no testimony is not relevant. All testimonies are important and is relevant, and it's important to you, it's important to us. So anybody want to share a testimony tonight?
Michael, we have one hand that's raised.
Okay.
On the phone, the number is 1-833-238-286334. Unmute yourself, please.
Good evening, everyone. How you all doing today? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, thank you. We're doing
okay. This is Miss Denise. How you guys doing?
Great.
Fine, thank
Hello.
you.
Fantastic. Okay. I have been working with Miss Rebecca for quite a while with the Anointed Body Cleansing Healer, and I myself drink the juice. My family drink the juice, and we've been drinking the juice for well over 15 to 20 years range. I don't know the exact year that I started and everything, but I do know that we talk about a lot of the different topics and things that are happening directly to ourselves and what we can speak on as far as what our medical diagnosis was versus what the juice has done and how it has changed our lives. Well, I have a great testimony, but I also had asked Ms. Rebecca, how deep can we actually go on speaking about those things that are on the website, and those things are not even posted there on the website? For instance, I had asked her, can we talk about the sickle-cell anemia? You don't hear about that as much. Can we talk about AIDS? Or can we talk about those things in depth? and how deep can we actually go with those commentaries or our testimonials on that. And I wanted to go as deep as we could, especially when it comes to women's health problems and what they go through as well as males. I note that most time men don't like to talk about their health problems, especially if it's male situated, and they normally don't like to go to the doctor. Well, women will go to the doctor because if any little thing that hurts them, they'll go in and get those things asked. But sometimes they don't give us the full answer. So I also had asked her, along with partaking of the product and ingesting it and drinking it and doing it on a consistent basis, how and what do people notice within so many time frames and the dates they started to their diary that they may have or that they make notable changes. And then there are changes that take place that you don't even know that even takes place. So can we go into an extensive conversation about how it works with sickle cell anemia or with AIDS or with Alzheimer's or even dementia, as you were mentioning earlier? I would love for her to go in depth on that when she's on the line, if you guys do not mind at that point. And I'm off the floor. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for that input. And I think that that's something that we can definitely bring up to Ms. Rebecca. But one thing I do want to remind everyone about is that, when she talks about the aloe vera, she distinctively says that it's a filter. It's a cleaning plant. So it goes into your bloodstream, your blood system, and it just eradicates a lot of what she calls free radicals. It could be cancer, HIV, all type of issues and diseases that come from a viral or bacterial perspective. And so we will definitely see if she has any testimony that can, she can relate that to, and then talk about how in depth it does address those things. All right, we have some other questions. Testimonies. I think I have some hands, Miss Aloe.
Yes, there's one hand up. April, if you could unmute yourself, and Miss Rebecca is on the line now.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I just want to make it real quick. I know Miss Rebecca has said before, it'll be a disservice if we don't share, no matter how small or big the testimony is. So I'll relish in my small victories. I've been taking the juice for almost 3 months consistently. I was dealing with a heart condition, which I still am. I was going to wait till May when I went back to see if I would need, heart surgery, but my breathing and everything was bad. I couldn't really breathe without, walking upstairs. I was winded, but ever since I've been taking the juice, my breathing has improved. I have no issues with my breathing. My skin has done wonders for my skin. Mentally, it has done me, great, because I suffered a partial stroke about 9 months ago. So I was paralyzed for some months, and I'm young. So it took a lot out of me because I have 3 kids, and it did something to me mentally, not only physically. Also, I have 3 children. I have 12-year-old twin girls, and this past week, my daughter had some oral surgery, so she had some extractions done. And the medicine just wasn't doing anything for her. She was suffering so bad. So my brother is Michael, and he said, give her some of the juice. I gave her some of the juice. It wasn't long after she was bouncing off the walls. She was like, Mama, I feel so much better. I don't have any pain. And she had just had it done within a couple hours, but the medicine was doing nothing for her. And as soon as I gave her the juice, within an hour or so, she was perfectly fine. So not only for us adults, but I say that it is a good thing to give it to your children as well, because I can attest, not only has it helped me, but my children as well. So I'm thankful for that.
All right. Thank you, sister. That is my sister. I love her. Appreciate you sharing your testimony. And also, April, just real quick, can you share about your teenager? She has a son that's about to go to college, and tell him, just share what happened with him and what happened with Mama.
Okay. Well, yeah, I have a 17-year-old, and it's kind of hard with him and water. He's just bad with drinking water. And I tell him, I said, well, son, you have to flush out your system because, you have toxins in your body that have nowhere to go. They have to come out. So I started giving him the aloe juice. His mouth swole completely up. They thought he had some type of allergic reaction. I said, no, those are the toxins that I was telling you about that are trying to get out. and they can't. The next day, my son looked like a totally different person. I mean, he has some mental things going on too, with depression, being a teenager. He has anxiety as well. He was like, Mom, I feel so much better. He looked like a totally different person. It kind of scared my mother because she said, what is that you gave him? Because my mom is a dialysis technician. So she's been that for 30 years. So she was just like telling him about his kidneys and things like that. She said, what was that you gave him? I need some of that. I took her some today because she had some pains. She called me back. She said, I feel so much better. So I'm telling you, it is the thing to take. I mean, I'm one of the biggest skeptics there is about anything, but I can attest for this myself. Whatever this is that God has blessed Miss Rebecca to do, I just think we all need to encourage it, push it, promote it, because I'm telling you, this is saving lives. And I can say that for myself with my heart condition. I have done a complete 360 and I can't wait to go back to the doctor in May. So that's it.
Thank you, Miss Brown, April Brown, for sharing that testimony with us about our family. And it has been something that's been bringing us together. And in the time where we're experiencing so many different things medically, I can attest that, I'm thankful that God has given Miss Rebecca this anointed body cleansing and healing aloe vera juice, that we have a place to go. I know the Bible says that, in the multitude of the saints and believers, there's safety. And so we thank God that amongst those that believe in the power of being healthy and doing it the natural way, that there is safety and there is an option for us to be healthy and wealthy. All right. Any other testimonies? All right. Well, Miss Rebecca, we're so glad to have you on tonight. It's always a joy and a pleasure for you to be a part of it. We know that you have 10 jobs. No, she don't have that many, but it seems like she has 10 jobs. And she always able to make time for people. And that's one of the things I really respect about Miss Rebecca. She makes the time. If she doesn't have the time, she'll make the time. And that is just so honorable. And also, I appreciate the fact that she has been committing herself to coming on to instruct us and give us wisdom and insight about the aloe vera juice. And Miss Rebecca, earlier we had some questions about the effects of sickle cell disease and how the aloe vera juice can address that issue. And also the question also went into, I guess, anybody that's suffering from HIV AIDS, if there's any testimony that you may have or that you know of, Ms. Rebecca, of how the aloe vera juice has impacted those individuals' lives or so forth and so on. I know sometimes some health issues people don't want to bring up or discuss, but if someone has shared that with you, Ms. Rebecca, or you can give us insight. That was a question from earlier. So let's greet and let's welcome in Ms. Rebecca Brown.
Well, hello, everyone. How are you all? It's
Great.
good to hear your testimonies. And April, you're absolutely right. There is nothing living that this product will not heal. Let's put it this way. There are no illnesses on earth that heaven can't heal. You understand what I'm saying? God said it, and that settles it.
Yes.
Okay, so understand this. I was saying something to you last week about my experiences. And one of the things that we have to understand is God is real. Don't make any mistake about it. If you question him, he's going to eventually answer you. And during my ordeal, and I'm going to get to your questions, but I just wanted to share this with you. I questioned God about death, because this is something, when a person is ill, that is the first thing that comes in your mind. Well, God answered me, and I'm going to share with you during that time what he told me. When you are ill and everyone anticipates or wonder what death feels like, Let me share this with you. You die every day. And I will tell you why. When you go to sleep at night, when you go to bed, when you go to sleep, you don't know anything about what happened in your life until you awake the next morning. That's a form of death. Do you understand what I'm saying? We
Yes.
die daily. And that's why a lot of times people will say, oh, he died in his sleep. That's true. He never woke up from his intermediate death. He went into permanent death. So just think, there is nothing God hasn't allowed us to experience. And I just wanted you to know, just think about it. Every day you die. Because by the time you go to sleep, you don't know when you went to sleep. All you know, and during the time when you're asleep, you don't know what happened in your life. All you know is that you awaken that next morning. That's what happened to me the 3 months that I didn't know what was going on with my life. And I asked God because he said, ask and you shall receive. And I asked, and that's what he shared with me. So I wanted to share that with you. Okay, let's go to the questions. The questions about sickle cell. And I think that was the first one.
Yes, ma'am.
Always remember this. Aloe vera goes into the body when you drink it. It gets into your bloodstream. Remember, the blood feeds the body. That's why when you go to the doctor and the doctor take blood tests, the reason he can do that, wherever there is an issue in your body, it's going to show up in your blood. And so when you drink the aloe vera, and this is the way God designed the body, it gets right in the system with the blood. It travels with the blood. As soon as it detects any issue, I don't care how small, how medium, or how large, it immediately stops and starts working on it, removing it until it gets it out of the body. Then it comes back and it evaluates the damage, because anything that's in the body that shouldn't be in there will cause damage to the system. It now starts the repair of that system damage. While it's repairing, it evaluates the amount of minerals, vitamins, and nutrients. Is the body deficient? If the body is deficient, it's going to bring it up to where it should be. If it's excess, it's going to remove it so it can be balanced. The whole purpose of aloe vera is to keep the body healthy, to keep the body balanced, to keep the body protected, and to keep the body in sync with nature. That's what aloe vera is designed to do by God. Anything that it comes in contact with that is a malfunction in the body, like sickle cell, it's going to take those sickle cells out, because a cell is not supposed to be sickle by nature. And since the purpose of aloe vera is to keep the body balanced, in sync with nature, it's going to remove those cells the same way it will do cancer cells. And once it removes those cells, the body is now out of balance. So what it does, it goes back and it grows stem cells. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard of a stem cell. It's nothing more than a baby cell. It has to keep the body in balance. So where you have these damaged cells that started to sickle, aloe vera will remove them because it knows that it's going to cause harm and damage to the body. The whole purpose of aloe vera is, again, to keep the body healthy, to keep it balanced, to keep it in tune with nature, and to keep it protected. That's why it is extremely important that you take it every day, twice a day. Because the ounces that you take in the morning protect your body all day long. The ounces that you take at night protect your body all night long. Your body is never without protection. So disease, infection, and turmoil cannot infect the body because it's protected. And so once it removed the sickle cells, it will go back and grow stem cells. Stem cells are nothing but a baby cell, and it's true. It's just like a baby. It grows and help the other cells become energized and help the body become in tune with nature. And that's why a lot of times when you have drank the aloe vera, you feel energized. That's why it is giving you that energy. It is giving the cells cleansing. It's feeding them. It's protecting them. And that's what happens when a person has sickle cell. It's simply an infected cell that has been damaged and cannot perform the functions that it should perform. And aloe vera knows it, so what it does, extracts it and introduce a stem cell, which is a baby cell. And now the person can go on with their lives as normal. Okay?
So, Ms. Rebecca, a question for you about that.
Yes.
So is that why I've seen and I've heard when parents have had a child with cystic fibrosis, that the doctor will recommend or will suggest that they have another child? And I've seen, I guess I've heard, well, they'll have another child and they take, I guess, some of the cells from the child after it's born, or from the, what you call it, that thing, and they try to save a child that has cystic fibrosis with by having another child. Is that kind of like the same thing?
It is. It is. As a matter of fact, you are right. You're absolutely right. And what they also do, and this was a big issue with Planned Parenthood, when you have an aborted child, you get the cells from the embryo. They are the same thing. They are new cells without infection. And that's exactly what they do. And they introduce those cells to the body. But the problem with that is you're taking an outside DNA from one human being, introducing it to another human being. And remember our discussion, even though it's from another human being, the body is going to reject it because it's a foreign agent. The difference between what you just asked me and what we just talked about is when aloe vera creates a stem cell, the body will never reject it. But if you've got an outside force and you try to introduce it to a new body with different DNA, the body is going to reject it. Then now you're stuck with, I need medication to help the body accept this new part or this new cell. But just look at what God did. He had it so that once you drink aloe vera, it copies your DNA. It knows exactly what will be accepted by the body without any outside interferences. Does that help you?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it did. And Miss Rebecca, I think the next question, because we have some more that's coming into the chat, but the next question was about how it impacts and affects the person that is dealing with HIV or has HIV, and also can it help with HSV1 fever blisters and HSV2?
Yes, yes, and yes. I don't think a lot of people understand all HIV is a form of cancer, just like hepatitis. Okay, it will heal all of that. HIV is, again, it's a virus, and that's why, remember this, viruses will always live in your lifeline. Cancer is a virus. And where does it live? In the blood. This virus that we're dealing with, it lives in the blood because it knows it's your lifeline. And what it does, it gets into the cell and it tricks the cell and make the cell think that it belongs to the cell. Once it gets in the cell, it can replicate itself, which means duplicate itself. When it duplicates itself, it will duplicate itself in the thousands, multi-billions. That's how it takes over the body. If you don't have a mechanism to destroy it, and you have to remember, a virus needs a host. You are the host. It can't live outside of you. It has to have a host. Not only that, it has to have a living host because it needs the blood supply. Like with this virus we are dealing with now, what most people don't realize, when you hear that people are on respirators, the reason is you have oxygen in your blood. This virus lives off of oxygen. I'll give you an example. This virus will never survive where there's a lot of trees. The oxygen is too much because trees produce oxygen. The oxygen will kill it. The reason you see this virus among people, because you don't have enough trees in the cities and where these people live. So it goes from person to person, taking the oxygen because it's going to survive, and that's the only way it can survive. That it depletes you of your oxygen. And the same thing with cancer. It needs that blood supply to survive. And what aloe vera does is it shuts down the blood supply and starves the cancer. The same thing with HIV. It shuts down the blood supply. And once it shuts down the blood supply, if you give the body the nutrition that it's needed and put aloe vera as your defense mechanism, you will survive it. It is usually not the disease that kills a person. It's usually the treatment. Just think about it this way. If you drink poison long enough, you won't live. And that's what chemo is, and that's what radiation is. What their goal is to kill the bad cells, but they cannot kill the bad cells because they're intercommingled with your good cells. So they kill everything. And that's why you see people suffering and struggling. Here is the difference. God designed the body and God provided aloe. It knows exactly where the infected cell is. It can go in, shut off the lifeline, and remove the cell from the body. It doesn't put it in remission. It removes it from the body. And then it goes back and grow a new cell, which is a stem cell. And so that's the difference of what actually happened in the body. When you use chemo and radiation, you burn and poison the cell to the point where the cell doesn't function. Over a period of time, when this wears off, the cancerous cells comes back twice as aggressive. And when they kill it or try to disable it, that's what they call remission. And eventually it's coming back. And I will tell you, I saw this over an 8-year period. When it comes back, it's like either you get it or it's going to get you, because it knows that you have detected it and it knows that you will destroy it. So it's the survival of the fittest. But now that's with chemo and radiation. But with aloe, you don't have to fight. God has prepared your defense. All you have to do is take it, because once aloe comes in contact with it, the first thing it does is shut down the blood supply. It needs blood to live. It's in a host, but with no lifeline. So now it's struggling to find a way to live. In addition, when the aloe gets in your system, shuts down the blood supply, and think about it. And if most of you ever thought about it, what it also does, the things that help promote cancer comes from a bacteria. Well, aloe destroys the bacteria, and those things are meats, sugar, and dairy. Dairy creates a mucus for the cancer to survive. Sweets feed it. Meat clogs the system and it decays, and cancer lives in a decayed environment. Well, once aloe goes in, shut off the blood supply, now it's killing all these bacteria, so you don't have the desire to eat the things you're not supposed to eat. And that's how you kill cancer cells. That's how you kill HIV cells, hepatitis C. That's how you get rid of those things, because aloe does a thorough cleansing of it. And here's how you can tell. If you take it long enough and take it the right way, when it cleanses your body completely, when you go to the bathroom, your stool is green on many occasions. Try it and see. Okay? Just remember this. Anything, everything that's living, if you give it aloe vera will, not might, it will perform a miracle in preserving life. It will preserve your life. It will fix your problems. It will prevent you from problems. Just like I just heard April talk about a mental condition. She's absolutely right. Because you have to remember, what causes us to have mental challenges is that the body is under extreme stress, the body is fatigued, you're not eating properly, and you have no defense for protecting the body. So the bacteria gets out of control. And then you have free radicals on top of that. Then you have unbalanced hormones. So that's a lot for one body to contend with. As soon as you consume the aloe vera, it knows exactly what repairs to start with. You will start to see your mental anxiety decreases. You will start to see you look at things completely different. You feel different. Your behavior is different. Everything that was causing your body to be affected has been changed, will continue to stay changed until aloe vera drive all of the outside interferences away from you.
And Ms. Rebecca, just to add to that, is it the same thing for the HSV 1 and 2 and the fever blisters?
Exactly same thing. Remember, any and all viruses, and it is not bacteria that kills us. And I will give you an example of what I'm talking about. It is a virus. One thing about bacteria, it can't trick the cell. So it won't even get in the body. And a perfect example is this. When a person is suffering from a bacterial infection, usually, and take food poisoning, for example, that person gets very ill. You know why? The stomach, when it feels that this food is no good, it shuts down. The food can't go through. That's why you see people throwing up, because they got to get the food out of the system. Because the cells communicate and tell the stomach, you can't allow it in, shut down. The stomach shuts down and the food is stuck in your intestine, not in your intestines, in your esophagus, because it can't get to the intestines. And that's why people throw up, because they got to get the food out. A virus is different. Remember, I just said a virus will trick the cell. That's how it gets into your lifeline. That's the difference between the two. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We have 15 more minutes, Ms. Rebecca.
Okay.
So I just want to let everybody know that we're going to shut down in 15 more minutes. So we're going to take 2 more questions. And
Okay.
we just want to be mindful of people's time. So if there's any more questions at this time,
Michael, there's one question that came in from an email. And the question is there anything you can do for an underactive thyroid?
Yep. Drink aloe vera consistently. Here is where I think a lot of people that I've spoken to make the mistake. They start drinking it. And remember, I just said it gets into the blood, so it starts working on your problem immediately. It makes you feel good immediately, but that's not the end of the problem. Aloe vera works slowly. It will not work fast and put the body in shock or in trauma. Just like it took you a while to get this problem, it's going to take you a while to get rid of it. So my problem with what I've heard from people, they stop drinking it. No, you have to continue, because again, it works with the body, not against the body. So yes, if you drink it properly, drink it consistently, you will get rid of that problem.
And Miss Rebecca, so just to be clear, because a lot of times people start on the path and they kind of get off, path or whatever. It can be the taste, it can be that it's not a routine thing. Some people are skeptical because they are so fixated on medications. on average, for to say, let's take the worst case scenario of a person who has a disease or has an issue. If you start on aloe vera, what is the amount of time? I guess it's different for everybody, but just kind of like a ballpark of the amount of time that a person will see changes. Is it like, consistently for 3 months, 6 months? I know some people's immediately, but just kind of like, I guess, a roadmap for that.
Okay, let's say the very chronic illnesses that most people have: high blood pressure, cholesterol, sugar diabetes, and arthritis. Because I get calls about those a lot. If you're consistent, within 3 months, your doctor will take you off of your medication. And really, he's not taking you off. He just tells you don't have to take it, because aloe vera has already taken you off. Because even if you're taking it, it's going to flush it out of your system, because the medication is not natural. Anything that's not natural, it won't allow it to stay in your system. So the doctor now realizes your blood pressure is stable. And what makes the blood pressure unstable is a microscopic bacteria that gets in the blood. The blood is made of 2 parts: serum, which is the thick redness, and plasma, which is the liquid that causes the blood to be red and flowing. And so once a bacteria gets in it, and this is a bacteria that you can't see with your eye, what it does is it causes the blood to get thick and not be able to flow properly. And that's why a lot of times the doctor will give you blood thinners, because he's trying to cause the thickness to be removed. And with the diabetes, it is your spleen and pancreas that causes that. They are at risk and can't produce insulin. So aloe vera goes in and repairs them. And if the one that you have is so bad, it gets rid of that one and generate you a new one. That's what happens. And with arthritis is nothing more than inflammation that the body can't get rid of, and you don't have any means of pulling it out, so aloe vera flushes it out. And if you want to understand what I'm talking about, take some aloe vera tonight and just take about an ounce or 2, hold it in your mouth and see what will happen. You'll have all kinds of mucus coming out of your mouth. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. That was very helpful. All right, it's 8:50 now, 8:51, and so we're going to wrap up our anointed body cleansing and healing session for tonight. We want to thank everybody for joining us. We hope that we have been able to answer some of your questions and give you some insight. And just to be clear, and she says it every week, and I just want to kind of reiterate it, that there's nothing, no condition, no ailment, nothing that aloe vera would not heal and address in your body. The key is we have to be committed and faithful. We have to be disciplined enough to see it through. If you've been on medication for 15 years, but you can't give this 90 days, then that's you got to work through that. So she has said it over and over and over again. Only thing we can do is just try it for ourselves, encourage other people to come on board and to experience this. But I want to live a life that is healthy and wealthy on this earth. And I know we all have had challenges, but this is something that God has given Miss Rebecca, and she is sharing it with us. And we need to continue to uplift her as she continues to move with this, because everybody don't like for people to be well, mentally, physically, emotionally. And this is something that is addressing all of our issues. And we just thank God that, she took her experience of what she had to go through to be able to come out of that to help us and help other people. And I think that is the life of a servant and a life of a person who is committed and that is caring about people. People can give you a lot of things, but you find few people to give you their time. So, Ms.
Amen.
Rebecca, we thank you so much for this opportunity for you to share with us and to encourage us and to give us this information. All right. Miss Alice, is there anything I'm missing tonight? Ms. Barbara, is there anything else we have to cover?
No, that's it. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Miss Rebecca, she have any last words? I mean, how many more minutes we have?
7.
Miss Rebecca, 7 minutes. You can,
Okay.
anything else you want to
Okay,
say?
everyone. I just want to say I thank you all very much, because living a life without quality of life, you're not living, you're struggling.
Hmm.
And God said he wants us to have life abundantly. You cannot have life abundantly if you're worried about what's going to happen to you the next minute, the next couple of days, or the next weeks. You have to be able to put forth the trust and have faith in God, because remember, God doesn't operate on our sympathy. He operates on our faith. Because when you show God you're faithful, he can make that faithfulness become a favor. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't care what the doctor says. I don't care what a specialist, where he came from. Until God says it, don't worry about it. But you've got to be disciplined enough to do what God says. And guess what? That's very simple. Just drink it on a daily basis, twice a day. How simple is that? If you compare drinking aloe vera juice to drinking water, when you drink water, you just quench your thirst. But if you drink that aloe vera juice, look at the power in it. It cleanses your body, it replaces, repairs, restores, rejuvenates, and energizes. That's because it has the power of God. No one else can do that. So I want you to think about how good God is to you and see whether you can compete with him and be good to yourself. Because that's all we ask. That you take care of what God gave you. Your body is a gift. And God gave you the body to be a good steward. Can you say you're a good steward of something that you don't take care of? How do you answer to God? Because remember, one day you will have to answer. So I hope and pray that all of you benefit from this product, understand this product, embrace it, and know that it's God and God all by himself. I am just the messenger that has a message. I can't heal anybody because I can't heal myself. I had to seek healing. So know that you've had an encounter with God when you drink this product. And I wish all of you be blessed, and I will be communicating with you on a monthly basis because I've got a lot going on and I've got to spend some time with it, and all of you will eventually be involved in it. So bear with me and we'll get through it. So be blessed and thank you all very much. I respect you. I love you. And just know there is nothing I won't do to not help you. Anything I can do, please let me know. Okay?
Thank you so much, Ms. Rebecca.
You're quite welcome.
All right. Ms. Barbara, is there anything else?
No, I think we're good. Thank you. I said everyone have an amazing weekend.
Good night.
Good night.
All right.